What's up, guys, and welcome to the web's first must-see comic and nerd culture show. Welcome to the Comic Universe. I'm Dr. J, and I am here to review one of the most surprising, best new shows of this year, and that is Krypton. I'll give you a second to process that because I really did say that, and there is not a hint of sarcasm in my voice. I am being 100% serious. Krypton is pretty freaking dope. Um, wow. And I would never in a million years would have thought I would be saying this because when the show was first announced, I was really skeptical. I was hating on it so hard. I was like, this is dumb. This is unnecessary. Who's going to watch this? This is probably going to suck. It's on SyFy. Who's going to care? SyFy only has a few good shows. Now SyFy is really stepping up their game. They've got Happy. They've got The Magicians. They're going to get, I think, Deadly Class, the Night Flyer show. They got plenty of great stuff on their docket now. And man, Krypton is on there because wow, this show is surprisingly very good. Um, I will be getting into spoilers for Krypton, so if you have not watched the season yet, I will be discussing full-on spoilers, so you have been warned. But real quick, I will give you guys like a quick little season summary of basically kind of what the plot is in case you're interested in Krypton but you haven't watched it yet. So Krypton is basically the story of Superman's grandfather Seg-El, and essentially his task is to stop someone from altering the timeline in order to uh, uh, stop someone from altering the timeline which prevents Superman from being born. And I'm not going to reveal who that someone is, but he is a major Superman antagonist, major Superman villain, and the person who comes from the future to the past to warn Seg about this is none other than, lovable screw-up space hero from the DC universe, Adam Strange. So Adam comes to Seg and is like, look, your grandson is going to be the greatest hero in the entire universe, but someone has come from the future to alter this timeline to prevent him from being born. Yeah, pretty much it's the Terminator plot, but with Superman and with all like the classic Kryptonian elements and the whole alien sci-fi vibe to it that we kind of got from Man of Steel. Now, say what you want about Man of Steel. I know a lot of people don't like that movie, but you have to admit the Krypton parts of it were pretty cool. And a lot of those elements are in this show. And it's really good. Imagine, like, Game of Thrones meets Terminator meets Superman, and that is essentially what this show is. It's got political intrigue, it's got action, it's got heart, it's got lore. If you are a fan of the DC Cosmic Universe, this is definitely the show for you. So, again, that's the spoiler-free, quick pitch on Krypton. If that has you interested in any way at all, I highly recommend checking it out. It's an awesome show. Go watch it. Check out the entire season. By the time you see this, it'll probably be up on demand. So watch the whole season, then come back here and tell me your thoughts and feels in the comments down below. Alright, but for those of you who have watched Krypton Season 1, prepare to enter the spoiler zone. Alright, here we go. Wow, this season was great. I loved so much about it. The budget for this show is astounding. The effects are great. I mean, Brainiac, he is completely brought to life. He is just, wow. He is super intimidating, looks like straight out of the comics. The actor who plays him is just fantastic. And you compare him, you see him, and you're like, yo, he could have been in a movie. What the heck is going on here? How did SyFy get this much money? And then you think about Supergirl and the Brainiac 5 that's on Supergirl, and you're just like, yo, why did that happen when you got this Brainiac over here that's so freaking cool? But anyway, Seg himself. Seg is a really cool character. I really enjoy Seg. He's pretty awesome. He is very rebellious, but at the same time, he has the heart and the courage that the House of El to have, and you can see that it's reflected in Jor-El, his son, and of course his grandson, Kal-El, Clark, Superman. So we see kind of him from the beginning, at his lowest. He was stripped of his rank, his name, and he's living with the rankless. But then when Adam comes and tells him what happens, he gets kind of dragged into this whirlwind adventure. He's also dragged into this kind of political intrigue by House Vex to use Seg as kind of a prop to show that an El can be tamed and that they can use him for their own political means. And it's kind of that whole Game of Thrones type of thing where like how Darren Vex is trying to use Seg and other people to climb his way up to the top of the Kryptonian Council. So that's pretty interesting as well. And then we get introduced to the real big bad of the season. I know, right? Brainiac isn't the real big bad. No, it is not. The real big bad of this season is, of course, Zod. That's right. General freaking Zod. Yeah, that Zod. And we learned some twist about this version of General Zod. It turns out because Lyta Zod and Seg are in a relationship, it turns out that Zod is actually the son of Lyta Zod and Seg El. That's right. Zod is Superman's uncle. That was nuts. And not only that, we get introduced to, of course, very other familiar ancient Superman Kryptonian mythos like Doomsday. So basically, we find out Zod is here to prevent the bottling of Kandor, the famous bottling of Kandor, when Brainiac rips Kandor out of the ground and bottles it up. We know that all from the Superman comics. If you're a Superman fan, it turns out that the bottling of Kandor is what causes the destabilization of Krypton's core, and so Zod is trying to prevent that from happening, not only to save Kandor, but to keep Krypton from exploding and saving Krypton. He doesn't care if he condemns the whole universe as long as Krypton is safe. And of course, Seg is not having it, so it leads to this big battle where they're at least trying to evacuate the city, get as much people safe as possible. That's what Seg's doing. But Zod is willing to offer Seg's grandfather, Val-El, who was trapped in the Phantom Zone, in order to save Kandor. And he's like, Val has knowledge of the future. We can, I'll offer him to you. He'll be of use as long as you spare Krypton and leave it to me. And so Brainiac agrees to this. Seg, being the clever bastard that he is, manages to trick Brainiac and ends up trapping Brainiac in the Phantom Zone. However, at the last second, Seg ends up being grabbed by Brainiac and taken to the Phantom Zone with him, and Zod destroys the Phantom Zone projector to keep Brainiac from coming out, which means Seg is also trapped. Now this changes the entire timeline. Earth is now when Adam goes back to Earth, is sent back to Earth, he sees that there's a huge statue of Zod. So Zod ends up conquering the universe, essentially. And Superman's cape turns from the red and yellow House of El sigil to this all-black cape with this El-Zod combo sigil that Zod adopts as his new symbol for House Zod, since he realizes that he is both an El and a Zod. So that's really interesting. And so now the season ends with Zod taking over Krypton and Seg being trapped, and the rest of Seg's allies being kind of scattered to the winds, except for Lyta, who of course is with her son, begrudgingly at his side, it seems like. And now, of course, we've got Lyta's mother, Jaina, who was rescued by her, thought dead younger brother, and Nissa Vex, along with Seg's son, Core Vex, who I'm most likely assuming is going to eventually end up being Jor-El. Um, she saved the babies too, and she kept it safe. And she's with Jax leader of Black Zero, the Kryptonian terrorist group. And so it looks like Seg, uh, they're going to try their best to combine their efforts to save Seg without releasing Brainiac, and they're going to need help because Doomsday, at the very end of the season, breaks free of his cage, and that's how the freaking season ends. Wow, this show is so good. I skipped over so many minor details because I didn't want to do that, like an hour long, just overall summary of the show. But wow, there's so much that happens. This show is so good. It has so many twists that keeps you guessing and keeps you on your toes. It has that familiar vibe of Superman, but it also has this edge to it that I really, really enjoy. But it's not too edgy where it's made dark. There's still that sense of hope and justice that you should feel when watching something that has this symbol attached to it. And it's great. I loved it. I love all the characters, and I loved just how this story unfolded. I cannot wait for season 2. But you guys, if you have watched Krypton, let me know all your thoughts and feels in the comments down below. What do you think is going to happen next in season 2? I definitely think Adam will find his way back, and he will end up being a key player into stopping Zod. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to leave this video a like to let me know you enjoyed it. And also, don't forget to subscribe to the Comic Universe if you haven't already. You're your #1 source for reviews and news, and so much more. Fan fiction, you name it. So definitely check us out. I will also leave linked a random video from our channel that YouTube's mysterious algorithm thinks you might like. And I will leave a copy of my channel icon so you can subscribe to my channel, Mr. J's Reviews. Because if you like what I do here on the Comic Universe, you'll definitely like what I do over there. I'd really appreciate it if you give my channel a sub as well. But that's pretty much it for me, you guys. Like I always say, once a comic geek, always a comic geek. And once a Superman fan, always a Superman fan. Of course, until next time, I'll catch you later. Up, and away. I'll see you around in the universe. Peace.